I'm trying to get everything in order because I cannot live in a doom pile. I have to have order.
Hey, calm down.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. I love that guy.
He's the best.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, I want people to do their best. I just do.
Yeah.
I'm not a freak. Okay, this is how my brain loves that order.
Sure. Yeah.
Welcome to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you clean up the mess in your head. I'm your host, Sergeant Q, and with me as always, Doc Jess.
Hello. Thank you. Welcome.
So today it's going to be an awesome episode. We've had a lot of fun in the pre-show talking about this, probably too much fun. We're going to be talking about decluttering. And so that's our current event for the day is decluttering, how to declutter your house and declutter your mind and the connection between clutter and mental health. So we're going to talk about all of those things. It's a great time to talk about it because we're heading into the holiday season where a lot of times we're going to be getting a lot of new stuff. So what do we do with the old stuff? It can be the same thing with relationships or issues that we've had to deal with, right? We're having all these new experiences and emotions and thoughts and feelings. And so what do we do with all these old ones that are just hanging out there, not doing any good for us? So we're going to talk about that. I know that was good, right? That's a good comparison.
I thought you were talking about getting rid of relationships and bringing in new ones.
Yes, same thing. Sometimes you got to cut people off that are not healthy for you. Seriously. Yeah. Every time that I grow in my business or grow in my emotional and spiritual development, there are people that are not on that same, on that same journey. And so I got to just cut them loose.
Okay.
Keep moving forward.
So if you see me no longer as his co-host.
It's because she's refusing to grow as a person.
No, it's because he's insanely difficult. He's not at all.
I am difficult. I expect a lot from the people that hang out with me.
Yes, you do. Billy and I were just talking, actually, like it's almost impossible to not grow if you're around Sergeant Q. Side note.
That's a great compliment. Yes, I want people to do their best. I just do.
Yeah.
And I believe in them. I believe they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be talking about decluttering, and then we're going to talk about this new advancement called the Neurolink. And so that's not to be confused with the Neurolink, which is what Elon Musk is building, that brain chip that goes in your brain. It's not that. This is a device, a handheld device that you can hold, and it helps you with anxiety and sleep and some different things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about today as our new advancement. And then we're going to go back to this decluttering when we talk about tools for your toolkit. So tell us a little bit about what you have for us, Jess.
Yeah. When you think of decluttering with somebody like me, it's a little overwhelming. And so we just have a few tools to share with you on how to kind of get a handle slowly but surely on how to declutter and setting, like reachable goals in order to make progress in decluttering the areas of your life you need to declutter.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the physical side of decluttering, like what that looks like. And then how do we use that as an example for decluttering our minds? It's great example. And I will share with you guys some decluttering that we did over the weekend and how not to do it, because I did not do it well. It was accomplished, but it didn't go well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. All right. You ready, Jess?
Ready.
All right. Let's get into it. All right. So we're talking about this Neurolink. So you can get this on Amazon. There's a bunch of different ones that you can buy. The one that I really researched is called the Neurolink. I actually found it on TikTok, but it's called the Chill Pill. So you're not going to find Neurolink if you look it up on Amazon. So look up Chill Pill, and it's this little round or oval shaped pill, it looks like, and you push the button and you hold it, and it basically vibrates in your hand at different intervals. And so the theory behind this is it's supposed to help relieve anxiety. It's supposed to help get you ready for when you're ready to go to bed, to help you chill and relax. And just holding this thing is supposed to do all these great things for your mental health. And so we've looked into this and we understand the brain-body connection. And so we're going to break it down for you guys exactly how it works and why it works. And just pushing this button and holding it is not really going to do anything for you. It's going to be a very small amount of benefit. But once we show you how you can actually use a tool like this effectively using these other mental health techniques, this thing will actually work very well for you. So we'll break that down. So what did you think, Jess, when I first brought this. When I first told her about this idea when we were going over the show notes, her brow furrowed and she got this like frowny face. And so it was really kind of funny. So what did you think about this, Jess? What did you think about this chill pill idea when I pitched it to you?
Yeah. So the furrowing of the brow was kind of like trying to conceptualize like vibrating in my hand. So I'm very hypersensitive to feels and being shocked. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm holding this thing and I'm anticipating this vibration that's causing me more anxiety. And so unless I'd have to try it for myself, and unless it's like a very slow and calming kind of vibration that raises and then lower, like something that's very easy to anticipate and not like there it is. Oh, there's another one. Kind of, I'm thinking like, I don't know why, but taser. Like, how is that going to help? But I'm sure there's research and studies of how it can help in a more like subtle. I'm sure it doesn't tase your hand.
Right.
But that's where my mind went. And I am genuinely going to have to try something like this to be able to advocate for it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I understand the theory behind it. And so when you look at the reviews, it got a lot of mixed reviews. And I think that's because they didn't do a really good job explaining why it works. Now they talk about how it works, right? You hold it when you have anxiety, it sends this pulsing vibration into your hand, which helps then calm you down, or you can use it before you go to bed. A lot of people have anxiety about sleep. I know I do. And so you use this thing, you're supposed to hold it and it calms you down. So they talk about how it works, but they don't talk about why it works. And I think that was a big miss on the marketing campaign, is to talk about why it works, the brain-body connection, so people understand what they're buying. And just holding this thing, like I said, is going to have a small benefit in my opinion. I have not tried it yet, but we are going to try and get one and use. But if you use it with intention, understanding why it works, and we're going to break that down for you, why this thing works, why it's going to help you work as a grounding technique, then you'll be able to utilize it and understand on a cognitive level why it's working, and then it will have more benefit for you. So when we talk about grounding techniques, there's tons of grounding techniques you can use out there. We talk about these. We built some into the technology, the app that we built, QActual, which is one of the huge components that makes it successful. But it's this idea of when you're going into a mental health crisis or having anxiety, which is the precursor to a mental health crisis, part of your brain is actually shutting down. Your rational part of your brain, your cognitive thought process, your frontal lobe here, where all your decision-making happens, that is reducing. So your ability to have good decision-making skills, long-term planning, and impulse control is all reduced when you go into one of these episodes. And so what a grounding technique does is it brings your rational thought process back online so you can start having good decision-making skills. So there's a lot of these different words or questions that you can use to bring your rational thought process back online. You can do this with your friends and your family, and we'll go through some of those. But what this chill pill does is it works in the same way, where it brings you back to your rational thought process, to the here and now, to what is happening. So from a therapist perspective, Jess, how do you use a grounding technique with your clients?
Sure. This is bringing back something recently that I shared with one of my clients that struggles with very high social anxiety and public speaking. And she's in the ministry. And so she's involved in the youth group and she's a leader, and she wants to be able to share things when given the opportunity, but she's so scared to do it. And so one of the things, a tool I asked her to try was holding an ice cube. Because that's also a grounding technique. Physiologically, you're feeling something in your hand that's cold and different, and it grounds that frontal cortex to your physiological, to your nervous system, to your body. And so you also have to, like you said, hold that ice cube with intentionality, understanding what it's doing and why it's doing it in order for it to have its best potential. And so I could see, having a gentle buzz in your hand from this little chill pill, it sounds a little more pleasant than an ice cube, I guess. So that answers my first question. or concern about like, is it feel uncomfortable? Well, probably less uncomfortable than an ice cube. So I would be interested in trying this out and seeing if it would be a good tool for how many clients I have that struggle with social anxiety and public speaking, reading out loud in class, things like that.
Yeah. And there's a lady, I'm thinking about this now that you're talking about it. There's a lady right here in Auburn in our community that makes these sensory slimes, basically. And she sells these online. She sells them on TikTok Shop. And so maybe I'll get a couple of those. And it's basically the same thing. It's when a small child is in sensory overload, it's something to help them be grounded to the here and now and not stuck in this emotional loop that they can't get out of. And that happens to us as adults too, especially those of us who deal with PTSD or anxiety or any of these other mental health conditions.
Yeah.
Bringing us back to the reality of the situation is super, super important. So that's our new advancement. I'm going to see if we can't get one of these in studio. So I will send a note to these guys. And if they want us to review it, we'll check it out. We'll show you guys what it does, what it looks like. And then, or if you guys have used one, let us know what your thoughts are. Like I said, I'm going to reach out to the manufacturer and see if they can send us one, and we'll try it out. We'll let you see what you think. So that's our new advancement. It's basically a tool to help ground you into the present so you can have that brain-body connection. And so you can not get stuck in that negative cycle, that negative cognitive loop.
And I would highly suggest not giving it to your wife and saying, here, take a chill pill.
That was my, really? That was my Christmas present. No, I'm just kidding. It's not, honey. All right. So current events, decluttering right now. And so when I did some research on this, it's really cool. I found it's called the Jewish Times. It's a news outlet, and they actually produced an article talking about this. They call it the Sukkot cleaning. And so Sukkot is a big festival they do in the fall to celebrate the harvest and then to move into the, basically the holiday season for the Jewish people. And so they talk about how do they declutter and because they've got to pull out all these old components for their celebrations and for their holidays, the menorah and all these different things. And as they go through that, they've got to declutter and get rid of some old stuff because some new stuff is coming in. So it's this whole idea that they talked about, Sukkot cleaning. It's how do they get rid of the old so they can bring in the new? So we'll talk about that physically, like how can you declutter your house and at the same time declutter your mind? Yeah. So go ahead, Jess.
Sure. And, the holidays coming up and all the things that most of us get, right? It could be really beneficial to go in and do a mass decluttering so you can have, like we've talked in the past about, gifts and overspending and kind of going through your things. Maybe you can make some money off of some of the things you don't need. Yeah. And that will take up some of your time that you might be going out spending money. No, I have 2 hours. Okay. I'm going to go through this closet and I'm going to put some things up for sale on OfferUp or something like that instead of going out shopping. And then maybe saving some of that money of selling some of your old stuff as a part of your budget for Christmas. But
are you trying to increase your Christmas budget? If you guys watched last week, we put Jess on a very tight holiday spending budget. And I can see where this is going.
This is just going.
Okay.
There's no motivation.
Okay.
I don't know how to wink. As I'm unpacking this, how much more productive my holiday season would be staying away from Amazon and the malls and focusing on decluttering so that I can see what my family really needs and wants and what they have of access of, and maybe not even selling, but putting it up for free for other people to be able to regift to their kids. Or I have zero problem getting used stuff for my kids and wrapping it up. So if it's something of benefit or upcycling things, but really the clutter and chaos that comes with the holiday season can be mentally overwhelming for some of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of those people. Clutter is difficult for me. It for some reason my brain doesn't want to work in a space that's cluttered. Like my desk has to be organized before I can actually sit down and work. I have a desk here in my office. I also have a desk at home, and they are very detailed out. Like I even my books and my reference books that I keep right there on my desk, they're on my desk and they're organized by size, like how tall the different books are. And so if somebody puts a book in there or takes a book out, I know because it's not that way. I'm not a freak. Okay. This is how my brain loves that order.
Sure. Yeah.
I do. I love that order.
Yeah.
And it helps me. And it's not like a compulsion, but it definitely makes me feel uncomfortable when things are not orderly or if things are like in the middle of an egress. So an egress is like a pathway outside. For whatever reason, the women in my house love to take cardboard boxes and put them right outside the door. So if you open the door, there's this pile of cardboard boxes. And I do not like that at all. It really bothers me. And so those are just things, that's just how my brain operates. I know there's a lot of people just laughing at me right now and shaking their head, but I can't help it. Like that stuff is really, really difficult for me. So I've learned how to declutter things, make them organized because it just helps me function better.
Well, and coming from somebody who grew up very disorganized and very messy, like I was such a messy, disorganized kid. Now, hygienically, I was clean, but mess, piles, it was just really bad. And thinking, oh, that's just who I am. And over the years, learning I am my best self mentally when things are in order and decent and clean and decluttered. You can argue with me all day. I was the cluttery person and I've worked really hard to not be, and I still get to that sometimes. But walking in, even with my kids, they hate when they're young cleaning their room. But when we do a good deep clean and everything looks nice, I help them walk through what it feels like to walk in your room. And every time they're like, oh, it feels so good to have this room look this way. And so at the end of the day, you can argue with yourself or your spouse or whoever that, oh, I'm just a messy person. You are your best self mentally when things are in order. And that's what one of the scriptures I want to bring into today is, for me as a woman and as a wife, comes from Proverbs 31. And it's really like those scriptures are pretty intimidating to us women of this generation because, you know, we don't make our own, most of us don't make our own clothes and things like that. But really the breakdown of it, the general breakdown of it is she's hardworking. She's intentional with her time. She's all about preparing for the snow and the hard times and making the most of her time to be productive. That's what the Proverbs 31 woman does. And so I can talk woman to woman, mother to mother. How many hours are you spending on social media? How many hours are you spending scrolling, doom scrolling, or getting distracted with things that aren't productive in your life? And the whole confusion about self-care. There is very important parts of self-care, but that also needs to be with intentionality. And it's not, people get self-care confused. It's not about being selfish. And it's not about like putting yourself above everybody else. It's literally making sure you are your best self to give your best self to other people. And part of self-care is being intentional with your time so that you make yourself a priority so you can take that bath after you've gotten all your things done. Or you can have a half a day to just, intentionally go out and do your grocery shop, whatever it is, you are your best self when you take care of yourself, for sure.
And so one of the things like decluttering and things like that, it's very overwhelming because there's just so much.
Yeah.
So how I tell people to do it and how I do it, I just pick one room a day. You don't have to clean the whole house in one day. You can, if you clean or organize or declutter one room of the house every day. Like today is the kitchen and we're going to do a deep clean on that. Tomorrow is going to be the living room. The day after that's going to be the bedroom. And if you just pick that one thing to do, it's a lot less overwhelming. It's that structure and routine. And
you're totally jumping ahead.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, because that's even too much. I say if you're beginning your declutter challenge, and we'll get
I'm
into...
an overachiever.
You're an overachiever. And everything that he's saying is true. Yes. And I don't know who has the time to declutter their whole kitchen in one day. So I have this amazing tool, 30-day decluttering challenge that we can get into when we get into the tools.
30 days. Can we do 15? Can we double that?
You can do whatever you want, Sergeant Q. But for us who look at things and feel overwhelmed, and Casey will go ahead and put this, if you want to move right into the tools.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's move right into the tool. So tell us about the tool since I've already jumped ahead.
Yeah. So I have 2 tools for us today. One of them is this 30-day decluttering challenge, and it'll be up on the screen. So what you can see is a breakdown of.
No, this is right here on the screen. Right.
Oh, you're pointing at this is where
it should pop up right here, right, Casey?
Yep.
Yeah,
okay. So maybe right here.
I'm Vanna Whiting this thing.
This is like this is a good example of what a 30-day decluttering challenge could look like, right? So the first week, the first 5 days would be kitchen. Okay. So somebody like me who has kids that I have to prep lunches for and cook dinner for and get to school, and then I have to work, all these things, right? I don't have a day to declutter my kitchen. So the first day is match up Tupperware and lids. Just that day, I'm matching up Tupperware and lids. I'm cleaning out the Tupperware area and matching up all the lids to the Tupperware and throwing out anything that has no matches. That's it for that day, right? That could be 10, 15 minutes. So there's not really much of an excuse to not get that done that day. The day 2 is organizing your junk drawers. I just organized one of my junk drawers last week and it took me 20 minutes.
1? How many junk drawers do you have?
3. Thoughts, Sergeant Q?
Junk drawer. I thought 1.
Junk drawers. Organize your junk. Oh, I have 3. I have 3 in my kitchen. Yes.
It's junk drawer. So if it's junk, just yeet.
I know. I need help. I need a counselor. Okay.
So yes, this is something Holly and I talk about. Like, how many junk drawers is too many? I look at the drawers and I'm like, they're all junk drawers. Like, let's just yeet all this stuff out. So this is a constant battle in my house too. The junk drawers. So it's just funny when you're like, oh, I have 3 junk drawers. I'm like, so do we.
So does she. So does she.
Yes.
Yeah. So day 3 is organize your pots and pans. Day 4 is clean out your silverware drawer. Day 5 is go through water bottles.
Yes. Oh, I'll have to find the video. Oh, you said that on purpose, didn't you?
Me and Holly love water bottles.
Oh my God.
I've been banned from buying new water bottles.
Yes, good.
Yes.
Oh,
good.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So then we're just going to jump down and go to the clothes. So whether you're just doing your clothes or your whole house's clothes, we're just day 6 is going to be old shoes. Let's just get rid of old shoes. Then it's going to be organized nightstands. Then it's going to be get rid of old socks and underwear. Then organize t-shirts. Then organize pants. Going into the next week is going to be your living room. So worn out throw pillows or blankets is day 11. Or wash them if you need to just wash them and get them fluffed up.
We did something. We have a blanket ladder that we put. So we have some really cool, like old Pendleton blankets.
That's a really good idea. So cute.
So really cool. Some ones that we got from Mexico. Some ones we got from all these different countries. And they are really cool. So if you have a lot of blankets and stuff like that, it can get cluttered very quickly.
Yes. And then the dogs lay on them and get smelly, and I don't want them to get smelly.
Yes. And so it's great to have a blanket ladder. This is something that we've used that works really, really well for us. They're not that expensive. You can really build your own, but they are a game changer because then they're displayed really nice. And if somebody wants to use one, they can pull it down
and then put it right back up so the dogs don't get to it.
Yes. It's wonderful. Blanket ladder is great.
Make a note. Blanket ladder. I need.
It's fantastic.
That's what I want for Christmas.
Blanket ladder.
That's a good idea. So blankets, where we at? And then, go through clutter piles. So I have like 3 bins in my living room where one of the bins is for the hair stuff for the girls. One of the bins is all our little massage machines. We have the neck massagers and stuff like that. And another one is just like old mail that I don't really want to get to right now. And I throw it in this bin and it's in my living room. So that day would be, go through those, it's pretty much junk drawers, but bins. Okay. And then
what do you call them? Your name is bins? What are they? I missed what you called them.
Junk drawer bins.
Junk drawer bins. We call them doom piles.
Doom piles.
Doom piles. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty dooming. Also remotes for electronics that you no longer use. How many of those do you have sitting around your house? I have like 10.
Why do we keep these things? Or old cables or plugins? Why do we keep this stuff?
We're going to get to that. Okay.
Why?
Day 14, remove kids' toys from the living room. So even if it just looks like if you have kids' toys or kids' things, make them take it to their room. And that's all you have to do for that day. Okay?
Or dogs, their toys.
Yes.
We have a bin for all the dog toys. And so we put them in there and then dogs will come in and take one out and play with it. But we always put them back in that bin.
Yeah. And then day 15 is decor items that no longer match. Just get rid of them. Those might be things that you could sell or give to somebody or upcycle, right? Okay, we're going to move into the bathrooms. Okay, day 16, we're going to get rid of old worn out towels and washcloths. Day 17, we're going to disintegrated soap bars. So I use my soap bars until they're gone.
You use bar? I never use bar soap.
I found this new bar. Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Melaleuca.
In the Marine Corps, always use bar soap, but now I just use the liquid stuff. But
no, I love a good clean bar soap. The liquid stuff has so much additives that are terrible for you.
I love that and the loofah.
Loofah. That's good.
Did you get the loofah? No, nobody.
Nope, nobody.
Oh, okay. It's from a movie.
Casey, he's laughing. Day 18 for us ladies, makeup that you no longer wear.
Well,
I have so much makeup I don't use. And I'm like, well, maybe that one day a year I might use this. No, get rid of it. Okay. Expired beauty products, day 19, day 20, old hairbrush and combs. Okay. Right. So if you go through this and you don't have any, take the day off. Spend that 20 minutes to do something intentionally for you to help clean up the mess in your head. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Then we're going to go into
Nailed it.
miscellaneous. Day 21 would be receipts that you no longer need, or like my mail pile that I just, that's the day I'm going to spend the 20, 30 minutes just to get rid of that. Right. And then day 22, pens and markers that are dried out. I have a ton of those. This is like really convicting me right now. Okay.
I can tell.
Day 23, mystery cords and cables.
Why? I do this. I'm like, oh, I might need this. This is from a 2005 Nokia phone. Like, why do I have this? What am I ever going to need this for? Like, I used to have bins of this stuff. I don't do that anymore.
Billy calls them tweaker bins.
Oh, but every now and then I will find like this random cable. I'm like, what does this go to? Anybody know? Nobody? Okay, it's gone.
Yeah.
Because I used to do that. And I don't know why I felt like I had to keep these things from some laptop, some, like Windows ME laptop that why do I need a power cable for that? I don't know why I had to keep these things for the longest time.
Well, we'll unpack that today for our mock therapy session. Okay. Then we were talking about office supplies, day 24, day 25. Let's go through our toys that our kids no longer need or use.
This is great because I would do this before Christmas. I would go in my kids' room. Anything that was broken, didn't even care. If it was broken, it was gone.
And do it when they're not around because they're going to, no, don't get rid of that. You send them to go watch a movie and you get in their room and you just declutter.
I did it with them. I made them choose. Like, look, This is the bin. If it doesn't fit in the bin, it's got to go. Like,
okay.
You choose what you want. And that's how I would do it.
Yeah,
anything that was broken was gone no matter what. It was just gone.
Yeah.
But they could select what toys they wanted as long as they could fit in that bin. And so then they had to make some hard choices.
That's really good way to do it. See, I'm thinking Autumn and she's a little bit like me and wants to hold on to everything in case.
Right.
And I have to go in and just get rid of stuff. And she's like, oh, Mom, I'm so glad you did that for me because it would have been too hard for me to choose.
Right.
Am I enabling her?
She's little still, but I think you could maybe introduce this thing. I mean, I'm no therapist. I mean, you are, so you know better if I'm damaging my kids by forcing them to
no, not damaging at all
dolls or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, but for me,
I can't see any of your kids ever playing with dolls.
Oh, Aaliyah?
She did.
Gosh, yes.
American Girl dolls?
No, Barbie. She still has like a whole collection of the collector Barbies, like in their packages, all of that stuff. She wanted to go see the Barbie movie because it was nostalgic for her because she grew up. And so there's all these inside jokes, I guess, in the movie that I would never have gotten, but she got them because she's like, oh, I used to have that Skipper thing, whatever. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so that she had tons of Barbies and all of that stuff. Yeah, she loved it.
That's cute.
She used to, oh my gosh, I'm going to out her. She's going to hate this. she used to build, remember Polly Pockets?
Yes.
Okay, so she loved Polly Pockets, and she would take, you remember the little cereal boxes that you could get?
Yeah.
So she would make additional like dollhouse condominium things out of all of these cereal boxes.
How
and She would
cute.
decorate them and glue them together and make entire cities and complexes for the Polly Pockets. And she would not get rid of those things. It took forever to get her to get rid of those things.
That's so cute. Yeah. All right. So kids' toys no longer used. Perfect. And then we're going to get into our last 5 days here. Garage. For those of you who have a garage, we're going to get rid of trash, old paint, damaged tools and equipment, empty boxes, and excessive rags. So this is just a guideline, right, of what you could do. You can print this out, cross something out and replace it with something else. But it's just a really good tool to take things slowly. But let me tell you what, even though it's 15, 20 minutes a day, after 30 days, you have decluttered so many things in your house. And so you don't have to declutter the whole kitchen in one day, unless you're an overachiever like you. But this is a little more feasible for those of us who look at decluttering like, oh, where do I even start?
Perfect. All right. Well, so that's your tool for the toolkit. And so we're going to, in our practical application, we're going to get into a little bit of this.
50% of Americans say that they or a loved one have suffered from mental health crisis. Together, we can change all that. Introducing QActual, a revolutionary new peer-to-peer based mobile application. Personalized to fit your lifestyle, with pinpoint GPS location in times of emergency. Connecting you to your care provider. With QActual, we will move you forward. Download QActual now and visit QActual.com.
So for our practical today, we're just going to do another mini therapy session.
Yay!
On clutter and Sergeant Q's mind and what that looks like for him. Ready?
I'm never ready, but okay, let's do it.
Sure. So thanks for coming in today, Sergeant Q.
Awesome.
So you were telling me a little bit about a mishap or a conversation that you got into this weekend.
Yes.
In your home life about clutter. Tell me how that went for you.
So, my wife, she has these piles of different things, and like your junk drawers, right? Or like those baskets, those bins of just things that are in there. And I look at that. I don't know what's in there. I don't want to know. I just want to throw it all out. She knows where everything is. She knows what's in those piles. I don't know how. I don't have the capacity in my brain to be able to know what's in each one of those. But I'll ask her for something and she'll go dig in one of those bins or piles or drawers, and there it is. And I would have looked in that drawer 6 times. I couldn't see it. I can't see it. I just see a mess. I don't see individual things. I don't know why. It's very, very difficult for me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel unsafe. It makes me feel on edge having clutter in my space.
You said something interesting and made you feel unsafe.
Yes. So
Tell me more about that.
I grew up in a very cluttered house, very, very cluttered house. And it always made me feel uncomfortable. I just thought that's just what life was. Then I joined the military, and there is nothing cluttered. There is no junk drawer in the military. Everything has its place. Everything is neat and orderly. And I loved it. It was amazing. And so now that I'm not in the military and I have kids and a house and all these different things, I kind of yearn for that organization, that no clutter. Here's a perfect example: in egress. I mentioned it earlier where the ladies in my house, they will unpack a box or an Amazon or groceries or whatever, and they just kind of toss it by the door or outside the door. And it's unsafe because if you had to make a rapid, descent out of that egress space, then if that clutter's in the way, it prevents you from being able to do that. So if there's a fire or an emergency and you have to get outside and there's clutter in the way, it's going to cause problems. So down hallways or near doors, egress is a lane of departure, basically, a door out that leads out or a hallway that leads out. It's called an egress. If there's clutter or things there, it makes me crazy. Like even our laundry room, piling laundry on the floor in front of that door is a problem for me.
Mm.
It makes me feel very uncomfortable and unsafe.
Yeah. Interesting that your mind goes to unsafe because of emergency departures needed.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think it comes from the military and just the training that they instilled in us. But even looking back to my childhood, I didn't like it there. I just didn't know how to articulate it or the reason why, or have a good reason why it shouldn't be there. It just made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Being in the military, I was like, oh yeah, this is unsafe. You can't leave things just laying around like this.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your wife's background. Does she have any military or?
No, none.
No. Would her mind go to that ever instinctively?
No, I have to remind her.
Oh, okay. And where do you think her mind is at when she has her piles?
For her, that's how she organizes. And like I said, she knows where everything is, where all of those things are. I have no idea. But to me, it just is, it's an uncomfortable feeling. But for her, she is very comfortable. She understands where all those things are.
Yeah. So unpacking this weekend and coming to the conclusion that the doom piles were taken care of, but maybe not executed perfectly.
Yes.
Yes. How did you try to execute that?
I failed at this thing miserably. Like the job got done, but not well. So I gently asked, like, hey, can we do something about whatever this pile is or bin or whatever this is? But it's not a priority to my wife because she's got all these other things that she's doing. She has a career. She helps a lot of different people in the community. She is the CTO for our company. So she does a lot. And so for her, those are the priorities. And so it's not that she doesn't want to do them. It's just not a priority for her. It gets pushed down to the bottom. And so kind of what happens is over time, it just kind of builds up for me. And it got to the point and I said, okay, so these things that are in this pile that are in this closet, if you want them, then go through them and organize them because I am taking a load to the dump because we don't have trash service. So we have to haul our own trash out. I said, I'm going to put all of it in this can and it's all going to go away. I'm just going to throw it all out. She's like, why would you throw this stuff out? It's good. We'll just have to buy it again. I said, I'm fine with buying it again. I just can't deal with it being right here anymore. And so it was definitely some tension in the relationship because I just didn't do it well because I was in a heightened emotional state. And I recognized this because it just festered for so long. I had to make a drastic change. And so she did. She went through it. She wasn't happy about it. It definitely caused some tension in the relationship. But afterwards, I was like, I can breathe again because this pile of stuff was no longer there, causing me stress every single day.
So in the weeks leading up to now, we've talked about different kinds of communication techniques that could have come in handy. Maybe the I feel statements.
Yes.
What is an example of how you could have put the I feel statement into practice?
Okay, perfect. So if I can remember this properly, it would be, I feel unimportant when these piles get left unattended.
Because
clutter causes me anxiety.
And makes me feel unsafe.
And it makes me feel unsafe.
Yeah. How do you think your wife would have responded to that?
I don't know. I can tell you I can guarantee it would have been better than what happened. Just because I do this stuff and I teach this stuff and I talk about this stuff doesn't mean that I always get it right.
Me too.
So we're just like you guys. We know what we need to do, but we don't do it. It says that in the Bible.
Yeah.
Paul says that.
Yeah.
I know
Romans 7.
Yeah. I know the things I want to do, but I do not do them.
Yeah. And it takes practice.
Yep.
And accountability.
Yes, accountability.
Yeah. Another good way is what I call a lot of people call it the feedback sandwich, or I call it the confrontation sandwich. where you sandwich the request in between two positives. So what I heard as you were unpacking that was a lot of understanding actually for your wife and appreciation for what she does. I heard you say she has so much going on. She helps her community. She helps me. Like she helps so many people and she has so many things from her perspective on the priority list. And so you honor that and you appreciate that in her. And so tying that into that I statement or that conflict sandwich of, hey, honey, where are you at on the thermometer?
Mhm.
Are you in the green? Okay. I just wanted to let you know, talk about a few things. First, I do want you to know, like, you're doing an incredible job with all of these hats you're wearing right now. And I completely understand that you have a different idea of your own priorities. And I honor that. And I love that about you. And I feel unheard or dismissed when I've brought up the clutter piles so many times. And I feel like possibly you're not taking those as a priority as much as I would really like them to be a priority. And so I'm wondering if we can come up together with a way that this could be maybe higher on your priority list. And my suggestion might be, can I give you 24 hours to look through this closet and see what you want to keep? Because I am going to be doing a dump run and I'm going to just go ahead and put it in the dump. Does that sound fair? And she could say, yeah, that sounds fair. Or, no, you jerk, leave my piles alone. I don't know how but just a little more effective communication surrounding things that can be emotionally triggering. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
So just because we practice this stuff and do this stuff doesn't mean we always get it right. We make mistakes. Perfect example. And you guys get to see my life on display. Super fun for me. But I hope that it resonates with you guys, that us sharing these more intimate parts of our life, because Jess does it too. Yeah. And where our transparency helps you guys be able to relate to the content that we're sharing. That's the whole goal behind it. So hopefully we're doing that. So in the coming weeks, we're getting close to the end of the year. We're going to be getting into the holiday season. So it's a great time to take all this information and share it with your friends and family, because you're going to be together for the holiday season. So there's some great talking points, some great material we're putting out for you guys as well, that you'll be able to download and utilize and start having these conversations with your friends and family. So if you like the stuff that we're putting out, please share it on your social media, share it with other people. There's little shorts that are going to be coming out so more people can get exposed to this type of mental health training, this type of mental health discussion. That's our whole goal, is to help as many people as we can for as long as we can until the Lord calls us home. So this information is great, but it's only valuable if you share it with other people. So I kind of want to put out a challenge right now, Jess. So we've got some swag that's going to be coming out for the mental health janitors. And so this 30 days of decluttering, if somebody can get through this, and there's no way for us to verify and check that you did it, but if you get through the 30 days, let us know. Send it in to Casey and he'll put the link at the bottom. Send it in. And if you can get through the full 30 days, even if you weren't successful on some of the days, but you gave it your best shot, you went through the whole thing, you didn't quit, even though you missed a day or weren't successful at cleaning out that junk drawer, but you at least gave it a shot and you kept moving forward and you went through the whole 30 days on track, we'll send you guys some new mental health janitor swag that's coming out. So for the first 3 people that complete the 30-day challenge, we will send you guys some swag. So go ahead and download that sheet, go through it, do it, tell us your experience, and we'll probably read some of the comments online. And for the first 3 people who complete that, you don't have to be successful in every day, but complete the whole thing. We're going to send you guys some really cool swag in January.
Can I participate?
No, you cannot. Okay. You're already participating.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, that would be really cool. So if you guys want to try that, that's our first mental health challenge. I think we should do this from time to time.
That's a really good idea. Have you been thinking about that, or did that just come to you now?
It came to me as we were doing the session.
Yeah.
Before we did the therapy, I was going to throw it in there, but then I decided, let's wait to the very end and I'll throw the challenge out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that idea just came up. Yeah. So
Cool.
I didn't discuss it with the team. I just threw it out
Obviously.
there. But the great thing is we could always edit it out if we decide not to do it.
Yeah.
So you may see it, you may not. We'll find out. All right. Well, that's it for the mental health janitors. Today, we've talked about decluttering. We've talked about the chill pill that can help with your anxiety.
Mhm.
We've also went through some really cool exercises, threw out a challenge for you guys, a 30-day challenge. And then we did a little mini therapy session about why clutter bothers me so much.
Mhm.
As always, we hope to educate you, empower you, and encourage you on your mental health journey. So for the mental health janitors, I'm Sergeant Q, and this is
Doc Jess, and we're out.